We are in a very unique spot here in the Inland Empire today. I'm in the city of Montclair and I'm here with Mary. Mary, tell us what is behind us here.
What is behind us is the first community fruit park in San Bernardino County and the second one in the state of California.
Now, when you say fruit park, I started thinking about this. Like, I know there's citrus parks, I know there's apple orchards, but what do you mean by fruit park?
Well, this is a free community fruit park. Basically, the community that comes and spends their time in the park, students that use this area as a pass-through for going to high school, they will come in, they can pick the fruit that's in harvest here, and if they want to take some home for their families, that's wonderful. But it's a free park.
So unlike other parks or people's personal residence, when you're picking fruit, that's frowned upon. But here at this particular park, it's not.
No, it's not fenced and it's open to the entire community. We're going to have some educational signage with some photos so that the youngsters that come through, if they see a green piece of fruit that happens to be an immature orange, they'll know you don't pick that. You wait until it gets to be the orange color and then you pick it. So they can have picnics in the park, they can have their own fruit. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Now, this is really cool for us too because we're basically at the very beginning of the park. Isn't that correct?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
How long did it take to actually get this to today?
Probably about 2 months. We were able to secure some funding for this from various organizations and a lot of pro bono services. We brought the opportunity to the city of Montclair because we happen to be doing some other nonprofit work and community service in Montclair. And they jumped at the chance to be the flagship community to have this first fruit park. So we got with one of the interesting organization in the city called Por la Vida. And it's a large group of Latino women who go through a large training program, and they know how to get into the community. They organize the community. They talk about health, about food, nutrition. And they connected us with this community. And the community, we galvanized them, we got them rallied around the program, they loved the idea. They came here, they picked the particular site within the park. We said the whole park is open. They wanted this site, which is the center of the park, and they decided on what to call the park. They decided on what trees they would like planted. And one of the students from Montclair, Leonardo Benitez, he decided to start doing a little design, a little sketch of how he thought the trees should be placed. The community loved it, and that is what's incorporated in the architectural design.
It's quite amazing because when you talk about community parks, and whether it's a fruit park or a community garden, it requires the community. And you guys have pulled that off here.
Absolutely. That's the only way they're sustainable. It's very difficult, I think, for a lot of cities who want to give a gift to the community without asking the community what they want. That's why even though we have the funding for this and the city endorsed it, we went to the community to ask them if they wanted it. Because if they didn't want it, it's not worth the time, the effort, or the money to put it in. Perhaps they want something else, in which case we would attempt to accommodate them another way. But the community loved the idea. And so we were fortunate from that standpoint.
This is great, and it's kind of cool. I'm going to turn over to Eleanor. Eleanor, come on over here real quick. So Eleanor, I want to ask you two questions. The first one is, tell me a little bit about the organization that put this all together.
You're talking about Incredible Edible Community Garden. Well, Mary, whom you just spoke to, is the founder and president of Incredible Edible Community Garden. It's a remarkable organization. The ability and the understanding of how you have to work with community is intrinsic to what IECG is about. I think it's really important because one thing that Incredible Edible Community Garden understands is community is how you make things happen. I've had the experience when I started my career that I worked for NASA on a project, and I always say it's an amazing thing what you can do when you bring a group of passionate people together. You can put a spaceship on Mars, you can plant a fruit park. And it's a very gratifying feeling to be a part of this because we're not just talking about what's happening today. When we're planting these trees, we're talking about what the future holds. And the fact is, when you can spark that sense of future in kids in particular, in the youth, they become the leadership of our future. And that's why Incredible Edible Community Garden is so important, because we are constantly working to bring, well, Mary's really the inspiration behind this, hope to each of these communities. You know, our communities have had a rough time over the last few years with the economic downfall that we've all had to experience. And it's kind of cool when you can come into a community and say, let's get together and do something different, you know. When the community started on this, there were a few naysayers, as you always have, but what really touched my heart and Mary's heart was the fact that it was the kids who got up and said, we want to present a solution. We want to take our park back. And that's a very, very powerful statement. That's a very humbling statement to us.
Eleanor, I know what's going to happen here. People are going to see this and they're going to start thinking, wait a minute, how do I get this in my community? Are you guys planning on doing this in other communities here in the Inland Empire?
Absolutely. We hope to do this county-wide. We know that this is really a big start to making that happen. We have 2 fruit parks in San Bernardino we'll be doing next year, as well as one in Montclair. And we're also looking at doing a fruit park in Colton. So it's actually catching,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited because a lot of larger cities or well-known cities, like our neighbors to the west, Los Angeles, they get a lot of resources. But what we know is, as Mary often says, we have an extraordinary amount of resource in how we work and partner with the community. And it's a true partnership. We don't build it and they come. They build it with us and they come.
So give us, in terms of location, obviously we have a school right behind us here.
That's Lehigh Elementary.
Say that again?
Lehigh Elementary School.
Okay, Lehigh Elementary, Sunset Park. Are we standing in Sunset Park?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and then I see Sunset Park extends all the way from Orchard to
Kingsley.
to Kingsley. So this is essentially between Orchard and Kingsley, right smack dab in the heart of Montclair.
Well, absolutely. And the fact is, it's in a very dense community, a community that has its own challenges as well. Now, I might be inaccurate about this, but last I heard, 92% of the children here are on reduced lunch programs or free lunch programs. So what does that say to you? That those kids that are not getting to tap into those lunch programs on weekends or holidays or vacations, what are they eating? So this is an opportunity to at least address that issue. Then the other really special thing is, we had part of the ceremony in each tree well before we started planting the tree. Everybody got a jar. They took one jar with everybody with a slip of paper for each tree, and they put in their well wishes and their blessings for this park. So this is from our hearts, and it's from our from what we can do physically to make this happen.
It's amazing that, we're talking about this is only the second park of its kind in the state of California.
Well, I want to address that for a moment because I understand that the first fruit park was at Del Air in Mark Ridley Thomas's district for the LA County. And that park was really wonderful. It was groundbreaking in respect that they were able to pull it off, but it was also funded by public funds through the public art program that developers have to pay into. The program did not have as much community engagement in that. It's literally a living art piece. This is a community fruit park. So I would beg to differ and say this is the first community fruit park in the state.
Well, certainly it's the first community fruit park here in San Bernardino County in the Inland Empire with plans for more. So obviously a very unique spot. If you get a chance, you're out in Montclair area, you might want to come check this out. This is pretty cool. By the time you see it, we'll have some growth in the trees. Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you so much. Mary, thank you so much. Keep up the great work. All right, you've seen it.